TV 111, Osei Kufuor. I'm back at y'all again. We're going into the video, but before we go into the video, I want to let y'all know that they are using the chemtrails to create a thin layer of a screen to project certain images of artificial suns, moons, and stars to what we call the sky. The sky is a screen. They are using chemtrails to project certain screens of artificial suns, moons, and stars into the sky, not only for modification of the mind and weather modification, but they are using it for certain things within the DNA to restructure DNA, and certain things on this dimension cannot get out of being citizens of a third dimensional realm. So before I go into the video, I want to let y'all know that. Go ahead and enjoy.
Brain. Now, as we look into what we call the sky, we are analyzing greatness. We are analyzing ourselves and the manifestation of what is not seen, which I call the unseen. Everything above our head is a part of us. Everything that is above our head is a part of us, and we are a part of it. So when I talk about the sun being artificial, it is a reason why the sun is artificial, due to the agenda of those who cannot reach beyond this dimension. There are citizens of this physical dimension that cannot go beyond other dimensions of the universal mind. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean is you have people here with DNA that cannot upload to higher forms of computers and the constellational systems. We are all downloaded energy. We are all downloading energy traveling through bodies, which is a form of a biological computer. Now, the reason why they are setting up this sunlight, SYNLIGHT, I talked about this before in my video. This is a fake artificial sun that they use to alter the DNA of those who live in this physical dimension. And what they do is they create the genetically modified substances such as the food, the genetically modified frequencies in the music, and this allows us to get sick so that we can go into their medical facilities and they can see how these fake suns and fake stars is eliminating or altering our DNA. And they take the blood, which is a spiritual substance, they take our blood into these military facilities to see if you have anything that is accurate or sufficient to helping them to be able to graduate into high universal consciousness within other realms, because they cannot reach that far. It's just like cheap internet. Some people have cheap internet in their DNA and they cannot go beyond or move faster than others. We also have artificial stars. It's not just suns. It's artificial stars, or what we call stars. And don't get me wrong, every time I talk about English, or this cannot be this because the English language is young, I know that we have to identify certain things within the matrix, but at the same time I'm trying to make you think. What we call the sun is not a sun, because what we call a sun is older than the English language, and sun is English. So I'm not being or trying to alter the identification of what we need to be able to identify within the matrix. I'm just saying that we need to look at this thing and start to think, because the only way to be able to turn on and turn off DNA is to think. They are turning on and turning off our DNA by sending out frequencies in the form of souls to think for us. Most of us are body snatched because we can't think for ourselves. We are still titling and identifying ourselves with labels that they created for us in the matrix. So how can you be older than anything when you are taking things and titles and names out of the matrix and applying it to what is really unseen? You are applying titles to something that is unknown, something that is unseen, something beyond a language. What you are cannot be identified with a mouth. What you are cannot be identified with a mouth, because you are not a citizen of the matrix. And for those who say that they are Moors, African, black, white, and etc., you are automatically contributing yourself to being a citizen of the matrix. And when you are automatically contributing yourself to be a citizen of the matrix, then you become that illusionary component. You you are easily moved. You are easily directed into the direction of those who have the agenda for which they created the title for. So when you say you're African, Africa is a small part of a continent within the matrix, which is 10% of what? The globe. So this is why you're thinking with 10% of your brain. Everything inside of you is outside of you. Everything that's outside of you is inside of you. I'm not saying that the illusion is not important, because you need an illusion to balance the reality, and you need a reality to balance the illusion. For those who understand what I'm saying, you see beyond even the constellational system of the brain of the universe, because the universe also has a mind, and we are thoughts flowing through the mind of the universe. Now, the sun that they are using it's just one system that they have. And when you hear meteorologists say that the sun is going to be rising at 7:20 in the morning or 6:23, how do they know this? You never stop to ask yourself, how do they know this? This is because they flip a switch at 6:23 or 7:23 in the morning. Once they flip the switch, that artificial light starts to rise onto the screen of what we call the sky. Oh yeah, the chemtrails creates a thin layer of a screen for them to be able to project the radiation of this sunlight into what we call the sky. So this is how the meteorologists know when the sun is going to rise in the morning. Because the paperwork is given to their boss, who is sworn in to not tell what is really going on, and then it's passed on to the meteorologist. And the meteorologists go off what he or she learned in school, which is a lie. They never question what they learned in school. But anyway, yes, this is how they know that there will be the sunrise will rise at a specific time, because they know that they're going to put on a switch. It's all connected. Again, the chemtrails is not only to alter the weather or to manipulate the mind and DNA of the people. It creates another screen, a smoke screen, for certain things such as processed moons and stars to be projected into the sky. They are letting off frequencies into our DNA. Frequencies is soul. When you hear music, you are listening to entities. And depending on the megahertz of the music, this will influence and affect your mind. And you will not be able to have certain control over what's entering into your body to body snatch you by way of these wavelengths or these frequencies to control your megahertz, because we all endow on different megahertz. When you listen to music, you are listening to souls. This is why you got to be careful what you're listening to. When you are eating foods on a certain frequencies, you are eating souls. This is why you got to be careful of what you eat. When you are in an environment is an entity. It is energy. It is full of energy. So you have to be careful what environment you digest into your circumference. All right. So with that much said, Black Science TV 111, Osei Kufuor, I'm out. Peace.